Welcome to MyStockScanner Live, brought to you by the 3-Point Playbook. It's the playbook that gives you the edge when it comes to dealing with stocks. We always ask the same three questions. Is it a quality stock? Does it have an upside? And is the timing right? Over the next 25 minutes, we'll cover the headlines, highlight the numbers, and spotlight the stocks that really matter. And all take place in this little forum. I'm Jesper Behrens. I'm the man with a question. And these two guys, there's a men of quality and answers, Liam Flavel and Hans Henrik Nielsen. And Hans Henrik, good to see you back. And you had a vacation on Monday. I'm glad to see you got a
Oh
tan.
yes, absolutely. An entire day in Copenhagen.
That
It
gives
was raining all day.
But do you have questions for us? Then our email, of course, will accept them, and you just send them off to us. It's FOMO at mystockscanner.com. And you can ask as many questions as you want, but preferably not 27 trillion, because that's today's number. It's in dollars and it's a value. And I'll tell you what it covers at the end of the show. And on the show today, when we're talking stocks, we'll be talking Oracle, GIC, Amatec, Tesla, Stolt-Nielsen, NKT, and we have Scandinavian focus in Wednesday list, which is our feature of the day. Let's get to the headlines, guys. The shutdown, now a full week in. Gold is over 4,000. The market went a little pink yesterday. Oracle pulled a little flag. It wasn't a surrender flag. It wasn't white. It wasn't even pink. But it's, you guys call it growing pains. What do you guys mean?
Yeah, there's a bit of a panic. There's a techie, nerdy news site called The Information, which I've read for years, and they came back and said Oracle's gross margin, so the amount they make before they take a lot of their costs in, was only 14% on the deal that they've done with OpenAI to supply their data center, Stargate data center for them, and on certain parts of the deal they didn't even make any money. So the industry and the investors basically said, "Oh my, what you mean AI? We're not going to make any money from AI, and no one's making any money." And it seemed to be one of those shock horror moments that no one saw coming. Oracle dropped about 7.5%. It recovered. It's down 2% last night, something like that. So bit of a storm in a teacup maybe, but it could be portending what the big drop that we think could well happen coming
But if we
forward at
take it
some
into
stage.
comparison, Liam, then you still have stocks that jump like 24%, like AMD, and they go
Yeah.
further up another 3-4% the day after. So a little tiny 2% and everybody's holding their breath.
I think that was it. Oracle, it's a very well-run company. Larry Ellison, he must be about 120,000 years old by now, but he's always run it very, very well. And to hear that actually they're breaking the bank, borrowing money, because I think it had zero debt beforehand, to actually get in on this game, I think has shocked some of their investors. And that could have been what you saw yesterday as much as anything else. AMD is really being driven by the OpenAI deal from a couple of days ago. It is big news. Effectively, the OpenAI have got warrants that they can actually get if the share price hits certain levels or they get certain gigawattage in play. That what happened is OpenAI announced, all right, AMD, we're going to use your chips. That shot up their value by 80 billion. The value of the deal was about 78 billion. The value of the shares that OpenAI have got is about 34 billion. So it actually only cost OpenAI $40 billion to get this deal in place, which is a really good deal for them.
I'm not going to bring up all the cartoons and things that we see where everybody gives a dollar to the next guy and it ends up coming back
Yeah.
into his pocket because apparently it's only 86 cents that comes back or something like that. No, they're not losing money at the moment. But Hans Henrik, the market did a little pink, and we trimmed the 3-point playbook with some of our stocks. Members, of course, can see it on our webpage, and you put out emails as well for when you sell stocks and stuff like that. What happened to the playbook yesterday?
Well, not much actually. We just did what we normally do. We go through our stocks. If they break the levels where we have decided we want to sell, we sell them. And there's absolutely no panic. We never panic sell. We never get emotional when we trade. So we sold three stocks. We didn't buy any yesterday. Maybe today it'll be the other way around. It's all rules based.
If we take a look at the stocks that was let go of, and it is, and again, we're not getting emotional here. Sometimes it's like breaking up with a girlfriend or boyfriend, or losing a dog, or what do I know. But GIC was one of the stocks that sort of was let go by the wayside. And again, it doesn't mean that we can't go into it again. We've seen that as well.
Absolutely. Those that have followed our courses and our writings know that the 50-day moving average, the green line here on the chart, that is one of the points where we start to consider selling. And we have our MTI trend indicator on a daily basis. That turned red a little while ago. That is a bit of a warning sign. And when we then get a quite hard run through the 50-day moving average, then we simply let it go. If it starts going up again and everything is right about it, then we can buy it. It's not that it's insanely expensive right now. It was just up in the expensive zone, but it's not as a high level as I have been earlier on. So we could buy it again potentially, but right now it's out.
And a couple of the other ones, there was a Norwegian one that was like go Stolt-Nielsen that you guys, and by the way, you did make a profit on some of these stocks.
Yeah,
30%,
definitely.
I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, the GIC was very good. I think Stolt-Nielsen was close to a break even. I think we bought that maybe a couple of percent in profit, but it was just around that. But it was the same example where it was following the trend nicely, and then it broke through. If the black line, that is a 200-day moving average, had it been close on, we would have just waited to see if that one held. But if there's much more than 5-7% down, we can see here that 13% down. If there's a long way down to the next support moving average, we simply just sell it.
And that's the rule, and that's the strategy that you guys have. And again, we hammer this home over and over again. And when I say that we do it over and over again, we've been running for 10 days or a week now. But it is what your strategy is with the playbook. It's simply not emotions. It's simply the rules. Stick to them, no matter how good or how bad it goes.
And like we
no, if I might add, we would have followed the same rule up here back in July 24. We would have sold here at 410, 15-ish, not knowing where it should go, but that would have kept us from a drop down of 60, 65%. So the rule is there to not run into these massive headaches here.
And Liam, one of the things that you stress over and over again is, of course, what you aim for in your portfolio. It's a 20% upside. That's what you aim for. You're a little above 33. We talked
31,
about that on
31 and a half, something like that.
Today, but it was 33 on Monday, so a little bit down. But anyway, and then the drawdown is also your major concern. You try to avoid drawdowns larger than 10%.
Yeah, the drawdown is what's going to keep you awake at night. So the drawdown of less than 10%, most people can handle. So if you've got $1 million in your portfolio, you lose 100,000 that investing. Everyone's been there pretty much. It's when you start getting 20, 25%, like you can see with the S&P 500 there. That's when you really struggle to stay in the strategy. So we try and minimize this as much as possible, and it's worked well. We stick to our rules. It's very, very easy investing. We just look at quality stocks. Are they undervalued? And is the time right to buy? And if all three of those answer yes, we buy it. And we're up 31.5%.
32%, sorry.
Oh, 32.
Okay, there you go. It's a number that's nice to look at when it stays in the positive, and it's done that for the entire year. But a number that didn't go up yesterday, and it's not something you have in your portfolio. I'm a bit skirmish about bringing it up because it was Tesla yesterday. They went down by 4.5%. And I tell you, Hans Henrik, I'll give you a minute to explain what happened to Tesla yesterday.
I'll give you €1 if he does it in a minute.
Okay.
€1. It's
all right.
Bet.
Start your timer. No, Elon Musk has promised cars below $30,000. They came out with the two new models yesterday. It was $37,000 and $40,000, more expensive than market expected. So they were disappointed.
Wow.
You owe me €1.
Do you think?
Everybody looks at him, kind of go, "Is he done?"
Yeah. I think Copenhagen on Monday was that in the hospital for some sort of brain surgery.
All right, let's get on, guys.
You'll take that after the show. But also at the same time, BYD shares rose on the disappointment in Tesla's low cost model
Yeah.
that was not that low cost. But that's how the market plays. It is that you can't just look at one stock and not see it interfere with
No,
another stock. That's how it goes.
BYD is beating Tesla on a lot of markets, and they had feared, or the investors had feared, that Tesla would come out with a car that was as cheap as Elon had promised. So that would have been some sort of a competition for them. Not in US because there's 100% tariff on EVs, but they are correlating or inverse correlating. So when Tesla is in disfavor, then BYD is in favor. That's how it is.
BYD had been beaten up quite a lot in the last few months. It's dropped
Exactly.
almost a third.
There have been a lot of competition in China.
Yeah.
People thinking that there's no competition in China. It's a fierce competition. So they are the strongest of the strongest when they succeed in China, which also why us in Europe and also in US, the EV car makers are in quite deep trouble.
If I look at the stocks today, everything is pretty much green. Denmark is up by 0.45. Novo is up by 2.2. I can see the CAC 40 in France is up by 0.56. And I want to go to France because there was a little bit of bounce, especially in the luxury stock yesterday. Kering, which is the owner of Gucci, amongst other things, and then Louis Vuitton, they bounced. The one Kering bounced 5.75% yesterday. Louis Vuitton was up by
Also up today by
yeah.
1.2.
And the thing is that of course, with the crisis that is in France, so that's a political crisis, but of course it interferes with the markets as well. Are we seeing something that I won't say a-okay, but are we out of the woods?
We should remember that the economy and the stock market is two different things, and especially, for instance, Kering that is selling worldwide. Then it's even though France is basically bankrupt and is kind of bankrupting all of Europe too, they might not be hit quite as bad. So if there is a growing market, if they are out of the woods, then that can be seen in the stock price. As we can see here in our value chart, it's absolutely not a stock we would buy right now, with a bull case of less than 7% and a bear case of almost minus 30. So it's not something we would touch at all. That doesn't mean the stock can't go up though.
We have a little bit of Scandinavian focus today, and we have that because it's the Wednesday watch list. But before I get to sort of Scandinavia overall, I want to go to Norway yesterday. Of the three Scandinavian indexes, or four if we count in Finland as well, they had a bad day yesterday, and they primarily had a bad day because Autoliners went down by almost 12.5%, Frontline almost 5%, Hafnia 4.7%,
yeah,
Equinor, Kongsberg. My question to you two, is it a buy the dip situation, or is it a trend here?
Well, you can start looking at a weekly chart here where you can see the Norwegian index that has gone up in an insane amount. So they are in a good trend. We can never predict if they keep going up. The drop yesterday in the Norwegian market, if we just look at how the Norwegian index is composed, this is the weighting. So every stock has a different weighting, and we can see that Equinor, that was hit somewhat yesterday, that is heavy. DNB Bank dropped a lot yesterday. That is also heavy. And we can see overall that they have a lot of oil down here. And then they have a lot of marine transportation in the index as well. And that means that when, for instance, Höegh Autoliners comes out saying there's less export container activity in the world due to the tariff war, and there is some fees coming in on the ports in US that will also lower the transportation on sea, then that hits the Norwegian index. But if we just have a look at it and
Again,
say
it
this.
was 1.22%.
Yeah,
So
that's my point. And
yeah.
looking at this trend, it's nothing I would be worried about right now.
And we can see that Maersk is down today as well on the Danish Stock Exchange. The B
That
stock
makes
is down
sense.
0.8 and A stock 1.7. But Liam, we have on Wednesdays the watch list, and that's where you compile what our members are searching for in on our webpage.
I do. Let me just share my screen, and we can see that. So there are two watch lists that we produce at the moment. One is the most searched for and accessed stocks on the system. There are absolutely no prizes for guessing before you look at this which one's going to be number one in Scandinavian stocks. Yeah, I'd never heard of them, but yeah, one of those things. If we look at the others, though, there are some interesting ones coming in. Stock Nielsen, obviously, we sold yesterday, and so this is over last month. So a lot of people have been looking at this over the last month as well. NKT is one that's risen quite a lot, 15%. Genmab is up 20%. Per Aslef has made it in as well, which is, we've had it before in our portfolio, which is up 14% on there. So a lot of interesting stocks coming in, and generally more gainers than losers in the stocks that our guys search for. So the users are getting good at this.
And at the same time, we got to remember this will turn into an article. It's up on social media right
Yep.
now. It's in our website that you can take a look at it and go sort of play around with the numbers and see if you can get inspired to things. And of course, we are not recommending any stocks. We're just sort of analyzing that. That's what
Looking
we're
at the
doing.
numbers. Yep.
Yeah.
And the second one is look at the watch list. So there's a slight difference and slight different flavour in where people are putting stocks in their watch lists compared to what they're searching for at the moment. So the watch list may be older, but still some quite interesting sort of stuff in there.
And as I said, the email address for our show here, and in general, also if you have comments and if you have suggestions, if you want to ask questions, that is FOMO, that is FOMO at MyStockScanner.com. Did we lose connection here?
No,
There we
no,
go.
no. It was
Okay.
just a screenshot of a still
us.
video.
Great. Yeah, that's not going to make the art list anywhere. But as I said, FOMO at MyStockScanner.com is the quick way to asking us question. Nicola has a question about NKT that was up 5.5% yesterday. It's up almost 1.3 today. Mainly because of one piece of news. That was Jeffrey's investment that raised their stock rating. But I'll ask you guys, is it worth it?
Well, first of all, we have actually mentioned NKT quite a lot of times, and that is due to the entire electrification of the entire world. And well, NKT are making the cables. So, we have a counter picture as well. So we have mentioned it a lot as of on the industry, which is interesting. When we look at the chart, we can see that we back here said it was interesting, but we wouldn't take it. But that was because the trend was going down. As of right now, when Jeffries are mentioning it and it's just going straight up, would we buy it right now? Well, looking at the value chart, we can see here that it's not really that interesting for us. We have the value chart going down here and then going sideways, and we are in the upper part of it. We have a bear scenario of around 34% negative. Analysts are believing about minus 14%, and our bull case, the best case in our chart here, is minus 1.3%. So it's absolutely not a stock we would touch right now. That doesn't mean that it can't go up. It's just that it doesn't fulfill our criteria.
And that's just what you stick to. It's the same thing over and over. And this is the second time we said it on the show. And we're going to say it a lot of times in the future as well. You just stick to the strategy that you have. There's no uncertainty. One thing there is certain, and that is tonight at 7 o'clock Central European time, Hans Henrik, you're going to go nuclear. And that doesn't mean that
Absolutely.
you're going to shine and be green and all that, but
Oh
you have
no,
a
I'm just
webinar.
looking radiant and all. No, that is our theme these days. Couple of weeks where I've written some articles about it, and we're doing a webinar, and it's basically just looking at what investment opportunities are there. We'll have a 3-point playbook look at some of the stocks, and I will talk a bit about the overall industry, the mining, the ones producing the nuclear facilities, and so on. There are some interesting things in there, but they are also fairly highly priced right now. Have been running the last 6 months quite a lot. So I'll look forward. I think there are 400-500 people on the webinar so far tonight.
Now, we'll look forward to seeing it tonight, 7 o'clock Central European time. Hans Henrik will be there. And will you do it in English and Danish? There's always
That will be Danish. Yeah,
that
that
will
will
be
be Danish. I'll just there won't be any annoying British people in there that we have to take into account.
Half
But
Irish.
half Irish. but on that, there has been a couple of questions in regards to the subtitling and when does it come, when is it live? Liam, just a quick update on the technical side of our website
Yeah,
and
we
our
are.
show.
Yep, we're working on that at the moment. So we will have a stream sometime next week coming straight into the platform on the homepage. So as soon as we start our countdown, it will be on the web page. You'll get notified if you're on the system about it. It will have subtitles in Danish and in English as well, if you need them to understand what I'm saying. And yeah, so it's surprisingly easy. We just need to test it to make sure it's rock solid. So that'll be our job for the next 2-3 days.
I need to ask you guys, would you buy gold at this moment, at this price that we have right now?
Yes.
Yes, I would.
Okay, then you would add to this 27 trillion that I mentioned in the beginning of the show, because that's today's number and that's the accumulated worth of gold at the moment. And to sort of put it into perspective, I can tell you, of course, you know that as well, Nvidia is valued at $4.53 trillion. So quite a lot more goes into gold. Interesting part is that silver is 2.7 trillion. As a matter of fact, it's beaten out by copper. That's 14 trillion. But it's not the most valuable asset in the world. That's oil. It's $111 trillion. That's in oil. That's value of oil. That was today's number. It's investable, as you said, in that case that you are pointing towards gold. And just before we go, we have a few things on the agenda for tomorrow. Today there will come a Fed summary. It'll just tell what we already know, what opinions they have about the rate cut that he did. But tomorrow, a speech from Powell. Hans Henrik, what can the man say?
Yeah, that's a good question. It will be interesting, and normally it's a bit like, yeah, we've heard it before, but this time it's a cliffhanger because we haven't got any numbers from US because there's this the shutdown that we all know, meaning that the Bureau of Labor Statistics (BLS) and the other one I can't recall, that's BEA. I can't recall what it stands for.
Yeah.
But all the numbers that comes out, CPI, PCE, NFP, all these exciting acronyms, they're not there. We are flying blind right now, and that means Fed or Powell might indicate tomorrow, what are we going to do in 3 weeks' time if we haven't got any numbers? What will they do to the interest rate if they are just sitting there completely blank and putting a finger up in the wind and saying, which way should we sail? So are they going to cut the rate? Are they not going to cut the rate? Market thinks they are right now, but 3 weeks more without data, I'm having my doubts.
I was reading yesterday, there was I think it's Carlyle Group, do their own private estimates on these things. They were saying job numbers, according to them last week, were pretty bad. But the GDP is 2.7%, so still chugging away, going up.
We shall see tomorrow.
Right.
I know that Hans Henrik will be commenting on whatever Powell says tomorrow. You can be absolutely sure to find it on our webpage and our social media. Again, if you have questions for us, it's FOMO@MyStockScanner.com. We have smaller earnings tomorrow. We're definitely not in earnings season. We get Louis Vuitton, PepsiCo, Delta Air, and Progressive. But one thing that we will have later today, bros, are we right? Are we going to have a stock of the day?
Oh, that was a little wordplay there.
Yeah.
Yes, we are going to have a stock of the day that might have something to do with bros. All members on the site can see what stock we are picking today. Quite exciting, but maybe not the right time to buy yet.
We shall see. This was the midweek markets scanned and simplified. It was the Wednesday watch list as well, and my stock scanner live powered by the 3-point playbook. Until next time, keep investing and do it with confidence. Use our website. Have a good one, guys. See you on Friday.
Bye.